The family is a basic unit of the society. A family affects society by influencing how its members view other people within the society, and this ultimately determines how people socialize. The family is also the primary source of beliefs and principles for most members of the society. If families fail to instill discipline in members, the society ultimately suffers, since there will be many people who do not respect the rule of law and order. Today, I'm going to talk about this. I'll first talk about, I'll give cases or scenarios where lynching has affected individuals and families. And I'll also talk about suggested ways we can use to prevent lynching and instant justice. Lynching is the practice of murder by extrajudicial action. Lynching in the United States rose in number after the American Civil War in the late 1800s, following the emancipation of slaves. Lynching mostly targeted African American men and women in the South. Lynching enforced white supremacy and intimidated blacks by racial terrorism. Today, lynching in Ghana has become so rampant. Lynching is getting associated with the culture of some Ghanaians. An old lady was recently accused of being a witch and consequently lynched. A man was accused of stealing a CD and 50 pesos, which is not even up to $1, and was lynched as well. Most tragically is the recent incident of a captain who was lynched. The captain left his lovely family for national duty. The crusade against to crusade against illegal mining, to save the environment for the youth. He was labeled a thief, a robber, on, on a national assignment to protect the people in the community. The same youth who will be the beneficiaries of his effort such heinous crime on him. He was brutally beaten and stoned to death, leaving behind his wife and 2 sons. Here is a picture. I don't know if it can be seen. Here is a picture of this handsome man with his wife and 2 kids. Here is also another picture of him as a major or captain. He left behind this wonderful woman, and woman was beaten. Her body was thrown off a roof and again set on fire and thrown into a river. She was alleged of burning a Quran, and that is why she was treated. Injustice anywhere is threats to justice everywhere. This means that if we let injustice happen, then this injustice will go, said by Martin Luther King Jr. With all these cases of lynching, we can ask ourselves, what can we do to prevent them? There are so many ways. And I think, just like I said from the beginning, families constitute so much to what happens in the societies. Families need to educate their children. When I took note of all these instances of people who were lynched, the mobs in these situations are people from different families. This could be prevented if all these people are trained one with the gospel, and also trained in schools. When they have an education, when they have something doing and have their minds set up to do great things, they would not involve themselves in such acts. I think the gospel also plays a very good, great, important role in this. When people are trained in their families and good morals are instilled in them, they would have godly sorrow. They would feel for man. They wouldn't want to ruin the lives of others. They wouldn't want to commit murder. What if they were right? What if these people who were accused were all guilty? But let's know that the law says a person is not proven guilty. A person is not guilty until proven guilty. I think it's our right as parents, as leaders of our countries and our societies, to educate the youth, to educate those in our families. If we do that, instant justice will not take place. Charity, they say, begins at home. And I think it just starts from little things we do. At home, when people start to judge people just immediately, this is what leads to great acts like that. And how they are feeling now. Feel as we prevent instant justice by doing the things which I have said, train. I would emphasize this: educate and instill gospel principles in the home. I believe lynching and instant justice will cease. Thank you.